15. Invisible. Habits that separate the 1% from the 99%. There is a quiet difference between those who rise to the top and those who remain where they are. It is not always talent, it is not always luck, and it is rarely what people can see on the surface. The real difference lives in habits, small, consistent, often invisible actions that compound over time. The top 1% are not separated by what they occasionally do, but by what they consistently do when no one is watching. They think differently before they act. They do not chase every opportunity. They choose carefully, while most people react to life, they design it. They invest time in clarity because they understand that direction matters more than speed. They respect time at a level others don't. Not just hours, but energy, focus, and attention. They guard their mornings. They protect their priorities. They understand that every yes has a cost, and every distraction is a silent withdrawal from their future. They delay gratification. While many chase comfort, they chase growth. They are willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term results. They understand that discipline is not restriction. It is freedom in disguise. They learn continuously. Not for exams, not for appearances, but for evolution. They read, reflect, and refine their thinking. Because they know income rarely exceeds personal development. They build systems, not just goals. Goals give direction, but systems create results. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on structure, and structure turns effort into consistency. They take ownership. No blaming, no excuses, whether it's success or failure. They take responsibility, because they know that control begins where excuses end. They surround themselves with growth. They are intentional about who they listen to, who they learn from, and who they spend time with. Because environment is stronger than willpower, they think long-term. While many focus on quick wins, they focus on lasting value. They are patient but not passive. They understand that real success is built slowly, then appears suddenly. They act despite fear. Fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to prepare. They move forward while others hesitate, and that movement creates momentum. They measure progress, not emotionally, but strategically. They track, evaluate, and adjust, because what gets measured gets improved. They invest before they spend, whether it's money, time, or effort. They prioritize growth over consumption. They plant before they harvest. They embrace discomfort because they understand that comfort rarely creates change. Growth lives outside the familiar. They stay consistent, even when results are slow, even when motivation fades. Because they know consistency beats intensity every time, they reflect regularly. They pause, think, and realign. Because movement without reflection leads to repetition, not progress. And finally, they believe differently. Not blindly, but intentionally. They believe that improvement is always possible, and that their future is shaped by their daily choices. These habits are invisible, no applause, no recognition, no instant reward, but over time they create visible results, freedom, growth, and success. The difference between the 1% and the 99% is not one big decision. It is thousands of small ones made daily, quietly, and consistently. Intentional thinking is where everything begins. Most people drift through decisions, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. But those who rise above take control of their thoughts before they take control of their actions. They question assumptions, define clear goals, and align every move with purpose. They don't allow noise to dictate direction. By thinking deliberately, they eliminate confusion and create clarity, turning ordinary effort into meaningful progress that consistently moves them closer to their desired future. Time is not just something to manage, it is something to protect. High performers understand that energy, focus, and attention are their most valuable assets. They design their days with intention, prioritizing what truly matters instead of reacting to everything that appears urgent. They eliminate distractions, reduce unnecessary commitments, and create space for deep work. By mastering how they spend their time and energy, they multiply their effectiveness and create outcomes that far exceed the effort they invest. Delayed gratification is one of the most powerful disciplines. While many choose comfort now, successful individuals choose growth. They understand that short-term sacrifice leads to long-term gain. They are willing to wait, to invest effort without immediate reward, and to stay committed even when results are not visible. This ability to resist instant pleasure builds resilience and creates opportunities others miss. Over time, this discipline compounds, transforming small sacrifices into significant achievements and lasting success. Continuous learning is not optional, it is essential. Those who grow consistently treat learning as a daily habit, not an occasional activity. They read, observe, ask questions, and challenge their own thinking. They understand that knowledge expands perspective, and perspective shapes decisions. Instead of staying comfortable with what they already know, they actively seek new ideas and insights. This constant evolution allows them to adapt, improve, and stay ahead in environments that are always changing and becoming more competitive. Goals provide direction, but systems create results. High achievers focus less on what they want and more on how they operate daily. They build routines, habits, and structures that support consistent action. Instead of relying on motivation, they rely on discipline and process. Systems reduce uncertainty and make progress predictable. Over time, these systems turn small, repeated actions into significant outcomes, ensuring that success is not dependent on mood, but on consistent execution. Taking responsibility changes everything. Those who succeed do not blame circumstances, people, or luck. They take ownership of their results, both good and bad. This mindset gives them control because they focus on what they can change instead of what they cannot. By accepting responsibility, they turn every setback into a lesson and every challenge into an opportunity. This approach builds confidence, strengthens decision-making, and creates a sense of control that drives continuous improvement. Environment quietly shapes behavior. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, and the information you consume all influence your direction. Successful individuals are intentional about their surroundings. They choose environments that challenge them, inspire growth, and reinforce positive habits. Instead of relying on willpower alone, they design conditions that make success easier. By placing themselves in the right environment, they align their actions with their goals more naturally and consistently. Long-term thinking separates those who build from those who chase. While many focus on immediate results, successful individuals focus on lasting value. They are patient, understanding that meaningful progress takes time. They make decisions based on future impact rather than present comfort. This perspective allows them to invest wisely, avoid unnecessary risks, and stay committed even when results are slow. Over time, their patience and persistence create outcomes that others cannot achieve through short-term thinking. Fear is present for everyone, but how it is handled makes the difference. Those who succeed do not wait for fear to disappear, they act despite it. They prepare, they learn, and they move forward with awareness. Fear becomes a signal to grow, not a reason to stop. By consistently taking action in the presence of fear, they build confidence and expand their capabilities. This willingness to act creates momentum, opening doors that hesitation would have kept closed. Progress must be measured to be improved. Successful individuals track their actions, results, and patterns. They do not rely on feelings or assumptions, they use data and reflection. By measuring progress, they identify what works and what does not, allowing them to adjust quickly. This approach prevents stagnation and ensures continuous improvement. Over time, small adjustments based on clear insights lead to significant gains, turning effort into measurable and meaningful results. Investing before consuming is a fundamental principle. Instead of spending resources immediately, successful individuals prioritize growth. They invest in knowledge, skills, and opportunities that generate future returns. This mindset applies not only to money, but also to time and energy. By focusing on building value first, they create a foundation for long-term success. Over time, these investments multiply, providing freedom and options that are not available to those who prioritize immediate consumption. Discomfort is not something to avoid, it is something to embrace. Growth rarely happens in familiar or easy conditions. Successful individuals step outside their comfort zones regularly, challenging themselves to improve. They understand that discomfort is a sign of progress, not failure. By consistently choosing growth over comfort, they expand their abilities and increase their capacity to handle challenges. This willingness to face difficulty creates strength, resilience, and continuous advancement. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Short bursts of effort may create temporary results, but long-term success is built through steady, repeated action. Successful individuals show up every day, regardless of motivation or mood. They focus on doing what needs to be done, even when it feels ordinary or difficult. This consistency builds momentum and compounds over time, turning small actions into significant achievements that others cannot replicate through occasional effort. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, actions are repeated without improvement. Successful individuals take time to pause, think, and evaluate their decisions and outcomes. They ask what worked, what didn't, and what can be improved. This process creates clarity and prevents repeated mistakes. By regularly reflecting, they refine their approach and align their actions with their goals, ensuring that every step forward is more effective than the last. Belief shapes behavior, and behavior shapes results. Those who succeed cultivate strong, intentional beliefs about growth, possibility, and their ability to improve. They do not rely on blind optimism, but on consistent action that reinforces confidence. These beliefs influence how they approach challenges, opportunities, and setbacks. Over time, a strong belief system becomes a foundation that supports resilience, persistence, and continuous progress, enabling them to achieve outcomes that others consider impossible.